we studied in the last class what is gravity and what is gravitational force. Okay, and we also touched upon various examples wherein we can feel gravity. For example, we saw when the moon goes around the earth, it is because of gravity. When the earth goes around the sun, it is because of gravity. An apple falling down is all because of gravity. If you jump, you have to come down. Okay, you will come down. So that is because of gravity. So these are various examples which we touched upon. So gravity is a force that attracts a body towards the center of the earth. Remember that the object is not coming towards the surface of the earth, but eventually its aim is to go to the center of the earth. It cannot go because we have a surface. But every object, if you throw it upwards, then it wants to come down towards the center of the earth. Okay, that force with which these objects are being pulled towards the earth is known as gravity. Okay, we also saw that gravity exists from the microscopic particles and objects to the macroscopic objects. Like microscopic would be electrons, protons, neutrons. If you see within a nucleus also, you will know that all the neutrons and protons, they are bind because of this gravitational force, because every object has this force, this gravitational force, that if the object has got a non-zero mass, which means if the mass is not zero, it can be almost like very close to zero, but not exactly zero. So if any object has some mass, 10 to the power of some minus, but it should have some mass, it should not be zero. So any such object will have a force with which it can pull the other object. Okay, gravitational force. So in the nucleus also, all these neutrons and protons, they are bind together because of gravity, because of gravitational force. We discussed examples of the huge bodies, the heavenly bodies, like the earth and the sun and the moon. Even the gravity exists there also. So from the microscopic objects to the macroscopic objects, gravity exists everywhere. Okay, are you able to see a picture on the screen? Who is he? Can you guess the name?
Isaac Newton.
Yeah. He is Newton. Isaac Newton. He is also known as father of calculus, and he is the one who studied gravity, and he came out with this law of universal gravitation, which we studied in the last class. Basically, the law says that if you have two objects, and if the mass of one object is m1 and the mass of the other object is m2, and let's say that these two objects are separated by some distance r, okay, then what will be the force between them? The force will be proportional to product of the two masses, that is m1 and m2. However, this force will be inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. You can see these, I have written here m1 into m2. What is m1? Mass of the first object. What is m2? Mass of the second object. So force is directly proportional to product of the two masses. Okay, you have to multiply the two masses, but this force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Inversely means one increases, the other decreases. Okay, so this we studied in the last class. I hope you are very clear about it, and I also gave you two numericals to be solved. You would have understood that if you increase the distance, what happens when you increase the distance between the two objects? And what happens when the two objects will come close to each other and the distance reduces? Then the force will increase. So that is the law of gravitation. That law is a why do we say universal law? Because it applies to every object on in this universe, but only condition is that its mass should not be equal to zero. It can be very less, very less, but it should not be equal to zero. If the mass is zero, this law of gravity, the law of gravitation, cannot apply there. It can only apply on objects whose mass is not 0. So the statement of the second law is the strength of the field is directly, or you can say the force between the two objects. Strength of the field means in a way it is force. The force between two objects, these two objects, is directly proportional to the product of the mass of the two objects. Write down, it is directly proportional to product of the mass of the two objects. You have to multiply the masses, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Okay, and how will you measure this distance? Distance has to be measured from the center here. So you take the center here, you take the center here, and then measure the distance. So that will come in the here. Okay, so on the top you have product of the two masses, and below you have the square of the distance between them. That means every body will have some gravitational force. Moon will have its gravitational force, Earth will also have its gravitational force. Okay, but which force do you think will be greater? Is the gravitational force of Earth greater or gravitational force of Moon greater? Earth is greater. Why? Give me one reason why. Very good. Because it's Earth's, the mass of the Earth is much more than the mass of the Moon. That's why the gravitational pull of the Earth will be much stronger than that of the Moon. The same thing applies to Sun, and in the case of Earth also. If I show you this, Sun and Earth, so whose gravitational pull will be stronger? The gravitational pull of the Sun will be stronger, because because the mass of the Sun is much more than the mass of the Earth. Okay, now I just told you that if you increase the distance between the two objects, then what decreases? If you increase the distance between the two objects, the force, the gravitational force actually decreases. So we are going to prove it by using certain equations. This is very important. So what I have here done is, this is the Earth, and there is this person who is standing or walking on the surface of the Earth. Okay, he is right at the surface of the Earth. So one person is here on the surface of the Earth. The other object, let's say I take an object and I place the object somewhere here at some height from the Earth, in which case the gravitational force will be lesser between
the person who is walking.
The person who is walking on the surface of the Earth. I am giving you two cases now. First case is the person walking on the surface and the Earth. That is the first case. So between the person walking on the surface and the Earth, is the gravitational pull or the gravitational force greater, or is it greater when the person is up in the air and between the Earth?
Ma'am, when he is walking on the surface, the gravitational force will be
When the person walks on the Earth's surface, then the gravity force will be more.
Okay, and when the person is up in the air, the gravitational pull will be less.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anybody else? If there is anyone who differs from this answer,
the person.
okay,
The person
The person who is walking
okay,
will have less gravitational force.
okay.
Ma'am, because when the person is walking on the Earth's surface, the distance is less as compared to the object, to the man who is at some height.
Very nice, very nice. That is the exact explanation of why the gravitational force between the person walking on the surface of the Earth and the Earth and the center of the Earth is going to be much more than as compared to the second case when the person is up in the air. That's because eventually when the person is standing on the surface of the Earth, look at this distance. The distance between the person and the center of the Earth is very less. So R is written over here, which means R is the distance from this person to the center of the Earth, or in a way, what is that? Radius of the Earth, isn't it? So the gap between them, the distance between them is just the radius of the Earth. But when a person goes here up in the air, any object going up in the air, the distance between the center of the Earth and the object increases. Now when the distance increases, we already learned that force is going to be less, okay, because the gravitational force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between the two objects. So as the distance increases, the gravitational pull will become less, okay. So same thing, I have written it in a in an equation form. You may also copy it down because it is important, okay. Now first what I have done is, the first force is this is the force of gravitation between earth and the man, okay. So what is the formula? The formula is G, which is a constant, I told you, multiply by both the masses. What is this capital M? Capital M is the mass of the earth. What is this M1? M1 is the mass of the person. So now we are only considering the person and the earth. So we have to multiply both the masses, divided by r square, because this r is nothing but the radius of the earth. So I will write r square. Okay. So here you see, what about the force between earth and the ball? The force between earth and the ball will be G multiplied by M, which is mass of the earth, because one object is the earth and the other object is M2. M2 is the mass of this ball which is in the air, upon what is the distance between the two? H. So I have to square the H. So you have now two equations with you, okay. One is the force between man and earth, other one is the force between earth and the ball. So I have written both. Now what I will do is, so when you compare the two, you will find that the force which is only between man and the center of the earth, it will be much more. And here, because look at this, you have h square here, h will be more. So when you divide this entire M2 upon a bigger number, which is h is bigger than r, so bigger number, your force is going to be smaller. So that's why. So this is by using the equation. Otherwise, even without using the equation also, you can just apply your logic as you have correctly done, and you can tell me in which case. So now you know, as you go up higher and higher in the atmosphere, the force between the earth and the object starts to reduce slowly. Is everybody understood this thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone clear? But it is very important for you to understand that why the force of gravitation is going to be less, where is it going to be more, how it depends. Suppose now this person is of 40 kgs. Now I make some 100 kg guy stand here. What is going to be the change?
Ma'am, the mass will increase.
Very good. The mass of the person will increase. So now you tell me, if the mass increases, what is going to happen to the force? If suppose you take this first equation, okay, this one between earth and the man. Now here, let's say this original man was 40 kgs. Now I remove this person and I put a person who is 100 kgs. What is going to be the force? Will the force now increase or reduce?
Increase. Ma'am, increase, because the mass is more.
Exactly. Because the mass increases, so the force will increase. So if I increase both the masses, then the amount of increase in the force is going to be massive. It's going to be more. But if I increase the distance, then the force is going to be reducing. Then the force will reduce. So now I'm sure you must have understood what is the relation between mass and force and distance between the two objects and the force. So similar questions we are going to solve once we come down, come on to our exercise. Okay, so you take any object. Suppose these are the three objects that you see, from any direction, any size, any shape. If you let these three objects fall freely, then they are eventually going to come to the earth. Okay, that is because of this pull, that is because of the gravitational pull. Okay, so it acts on every object, as I said. And what is the value of G? I told you the value of G is 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Okay, Newton, this is very important. You have to know this figure, this value of G, also the unit of the capital G. What is capital G?
Constant.
Gravitational constant. It is called gravitational constant. Now I want you to take out your rough copies right now, and I want you to write this equation. F is equal to capital G m1 multiply by m2 divided by r square, and take that G on one side. Now F is on one side, right? Here this F is on one side. From this equation I want you to take out G. G is equal to, tell me what is the equation. Let me know.
G equals to F into distance square upon product of mass.
Very good. Now what? Very good. All of you got that? G is equal to F into R square upon M1 into M2. All of you got that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I want you to write down, keep the G aside, keep the G on one side. The units of all the other quantities, like on the other side you have F first. What is the unit of force?
Newton.
Newton. Write down. Below that just write down Newton multiply by, next what do you have? R square. What is R? Distance. What is the unit of distance?
Meter.
Meter. Write down meter square because it is R square. So you have Newton meter square upon, what do you have?
Masses.
Mass into mass. So what is the SI unit of mass? Kg. Very good. So you have Newton meter square upon kg square.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is how you derive the units of capital G. Right now it may look like very complicated, but you just solved it yourself. Why is this law important? These are the 4 points why this law is important. This law and this force that we are talking about, it is that force which is responsible for all the planets rotating or revolving around the sun. Why is that all the planets are revolving around the sun? Is because of this gravitational pull of the sun. Why the moon is going around the earth? Again, it is because of the universal law of gravitation. Why all the planets go around the sun? Again, it is because of this universal law of gravitation. Why do you see tides? Where on a full moon day you see very high tides. So why do you see? It is again because of the gravitational pull of the moon. So all these phenomena that you see around is because of this universal law of gravitation. Again, these 4 points are important. Please make a note of these 4 points. Next is what we are going to now touch upon is how, using Newton's second law, we can derive the value for acceleration due to gravity.
Ma'am, 9.8 meter.
What we have done is we have considered Earth. Let's say this one that you see here is Earth, and you have an object here. It can be any object, okay? A ball or a person or a thing, anything. The mass of the Earth is capital M. Small m is the mass of this object that you see, this small object, the yellow dot that I have shown here. And let's say the distance between the Earth and the object is r. Okay? You can take anything. You can take d also. Need not be r. Okay? Now, what is the force of gravitation between them? What is the equation of force of gravitation between them? It is F is equal to G into capital M multiply by small m upon r square. Okay, that is the standard equation. I just have to note that I am writing exactly this capital M is the mass of the Earth, small m is the mass of the object, and r is the distance between them. So if I write this equation, which means I have written the force of gravitation between the two objects. Which are the two objects? Earth and this object.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So now, I can remove this multiplication sign from in between, and I can write it like this: F is equal to G M M upon r square. That is my first equation. Okay. Now, what is the second law of equation?
Ma'am, force is equal to mass into acceleration.
Very good. So I can write the second law of motion like this: force is equal to mass into, she said acceleration, but the acceleration that she said is a linear acceleration. The situation is different. Please understand why have I written G here. Now this object, the yellow color object that you see here, is under the influence of Earth. So this g is acceleration due to gravity of earth. ठीक है? Suppose if the object is falling down, like this, so the object is falling down, but with what acceleration? Acceleration of earth. Is that clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so see, this F is equal to m into g, and F is equal to g capital M up m small m upon r square. Both are force. Okay, both of them are force with which the earth is trying to pull the object. So what I can do, I can equate both of them. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
now I want you to tell me what is this capital M.
Ma'am,
हाँ बेटा बोलो.
mass of earth.
What is this small m?
Mass of object.
Mass of the object. What is, yeah, what is this small m?
Mass of object.
Yes, mass of object only. And what is this g, small g?
Acceleration due to gravity.
Acceleration due to gravity. In this equation, I can cancel this small m here on this side and small m on the right hand side, isn't it? I can cancel these two small m because they are same. What I will get is, I will get, look at this, one side, if I cancel this small m, I will get capital G and capital M upon r square is equal to g, because both the small m's are now cancelled. Now, so I got the value of g. Look at this. This is g, acceleration due to gravity. Now g is equal to, what is the value of capital G? 6.7 into 10 to the power of minus 11. What is the value of mass of the earth? This mass of the earth we already know. It is 6 into 10 to the power of 24. This is the mass of the earth. It is in kgs. Okay, 6 into 10 to the power of 24 upon 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6. This is the actual radius of the earth. If you solve it, you will get 9.8. Okay, now, so you have studied two G's. One is capital G and one is small g. Okay, capital G, I have given you these are the differences between capital G and small g. I told you capital G is the gravitational constant. Small g is acceleration due to gravity. The value of acceleration due to gravity is 9.8. Now, this 9.8 is not a constant, but it can vary. Okay, it can vary. How can it vary? It depends whether, suppose you are standing on the equator or you are standing on poles. So the value will be slightly different. This g value will never change. Now, what is the unit of capital G? You just solved it yourself. Newton meter square per kg square. Okay, but here it is meter per second square. That is the unit. Small g is a vector quantity and capital G is a scalar quantity. Okay, and capital G cannot be 0 because its value is constant. It will never change. But small g can be 0. How? Where will it be 0? What is the equation of small g? G is equal to gm upon r square. ठीक है, तो ये कैपिटल G तो कांस्टेंट है. ठीक है, कैपिटल M क्या है? मास ऑफ द अर्थ. कैन द मास ऑफ द अर्थ चेंज?
No, ma'am.
No. What can change in this? In this equation, what can change?
Distance.
Very good. Distance means this r can change. Radius of the earth. But suppose if you are standing on the surface of the earth here, so what is the distance between this object on the surface of the earth and the center of the earth? It is the radius of the earth. Make a huge hole from top to bottom, and then you start traveling down to the center of the earth. As you reach the center of the earth, what is the distance between you and the center of the earth?
Zero.
Zero obviously. If this r becomes 0, your small g will also become 0. The g is 0 at the center of the earth. So capital G cannot be 0, but small g can be 0. Small g can be 0.